The Battle of Seleucami was every bit as decisive as we'd expected, insofar as it decisively destroyed most of the First Fleet and the entirety of the Separatist one. Of my victory wing, only 2 ships survived. My flagship, the Conqueror, along with the Alecto. Both were heavily damaged. We had at least fared better than Admiral Tarkin, however, whose ship was obliterated by a masterstroke of a flanking attack by the droids. Tarkin himself survived, but the incident gave birth to a lingering rumour which was spread throughout the Navy that he had begun making his way to an escape pod at the very first sign of trouble, leaving the ship's captain on the bridge to manage the hopeless situation in his absence. Tarkin would later be promoted all the way to Grand Moff because being well connected was more important than competence in the New Order, but these rumours would dog him for the remainder of his career. One might speculate that this is the reason he refused to flee his imminent destruction many years later, but we'll never know for sure. We'd start to miss Tarkin very soon, however, because while he was recalled to Coruscant, his place was taken by Lord Vader. Vader was an inscrutable mystery to most of us. Allegedly, he was one of the few members of the Jedi Order that had sided with the Emperor and aided in thwarting the coup. However, nobody had ever heard of him before, and word of a sinister cybernetic Jedi would have certainly gotten around during the war. Nobody, however, was stupid enough to ask questions. This man, if you could really call him such, had the highest possible favour of the Emperor, and he also did not suffer fools gladly. A number of executions were conducted in the wake of the battle, and Vader carried out the sentences personally. At least that was the rumour. I met him precisely once. There was a big staff meeting after he took command, and I remember that he did very little speaking himself, while an adjutant laid out the agenda. Meanwhile, he seemed to stare blankly at the assembled commanders as if he was getting the measure of us or something. Mercifully, it didn't last very long. Compared to Tarkin, Lord Vader was a very impatient man, it seemed. The offensive was to roll on immediately, in spite of our massive losses, with new reinforcements arriving from Coruscant within the week. I wouldn't be there to see it, however. The Battle of Seleucami would be memorialised as a trial by blood for the Imperial Navy. It was, in the minds of the fanatics who would soon come to dominate the service, a necessary sacrifice on the altar of the New Order. A demonstration of our superior strength of will and commitment to the Emperor. In reality, it was something of a culling. Not necessarily by design, although I have my suspicions. A large number of the casualties included veteran commanders from the Clone Wars, as well as judicial service and sector defense fleet people like myself. My own survival was something of a statistical anomaly in that respect, but nevertheless it seemed my presence was no longer welcome because I was being transferred to the Outer Rim. I was no longer a Commodore, mostly because the ranks were being reorganised. In practice, nothing changed, but my title was now merely that of a senior captain, and while it wasn't technically a demotion, under the circumstances it definitely felt like one. I was to take command of an anti-piracy task force operating out of Ryloth that consisted of the Conqueror and a couple of supporting frigates. With the war winding down to a conclusion at last, the Navy was able to start freeing up assets to police Imperial territory more effectively. Criminal activity had flourished in all the chaos, and shipping lanes had become utterly treacherous for commercial and private traffic. Ryloth is situated right at the end of the Corellian Run, one of the biggest hyperlanes in the galaxy, and was an ideal place to base our operations from. After the initial shock of the reassignment, I have to admit I settled into it quite nicely. This was not so very different from the work we used to do in the Republic Judicial Force, and now I had a Victory Star Destroyer to do it with. Small task forces like mine became incredibly common, usually led by a Victory, Venator, or Imperator. The Vics, Vens, and Deuces, as they came to be called in the general military vernacular. I also had a lot more freedom and independence to conduct operations the way I wanted to in this role, rather than being part of a battle line following specific instructions from the admirals. And to top it all off, there were far worse places to be stationed than Ryloth. I was about as far as it was possible to get from my estranged family on Chandrilla. The climate agreed with me, and I was back to doing a familiar job with a mountain of resources that we could have only dreamed of back in the day. A lot of former Imperials look back fondly at this period, and it's easy to see why. We were high on success, the war was nearly over, and our new pirate and smuggler opponents were frequently as inept as they were unprepared to deal with us. Meanwhile, in the galactic north, the last pushes into Confederate territory were underway, and while a part of me felt a little guilty for not being there to do my part, if I'm being totally honest, it didn't bother me that much. I'd given my pound of flesh, and I thought I was entitled to a back seat now. It was time to help establish some of that peace and order everyone was talking about, and while at first it went pretty well, it certainly didn't stay that way. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to Empire at War: Fall of the Republic, where last time the only person who did any falling was Tarkin, as he got very cheekily sniped by the AI. I won't shed any real tears over it, I must admit. He was a pretty good commander, admittedly. But never mind. Much like Admiral Dodonna, he is protected by plot armor, and therefore Tarkin isn't really dead. He's just, he's probably off to oversee construction of the Death Star now, I suspect. In the meantime, I am actually opening up another sector command position, so we'll get someone to replace him in the meantime. What's left of his fleet is still pretty significantly large, and it's backed up by a Mandator 2 and a Praetor that's inbound. I've queued up the production of another 2 Praetors, one at Quat and one at Deca Nemoidia, and honestly, if I had enough ship crews, I'd probably queue up another one somewhere else. I think I might already have a Dreadnought shipyard at Pamant. No, not yet. I'm actually building one at Mon Calamari. In the meantime, one thing we did achieve was we absolutely, almost completely wiped out the Separatist fleet at Seleucami, and sort of almost fortuitously in a way, they actually diverted a huge number of their Providence dreadnoughts to the battle as Tarkin was en route to it. I didn't notice at the time, but we ended up facing off against 20 Providence dreadnoughts, and we blew up all 20 of them. It cost us significantly, but it cost them a lot more than it cost us, so ultimately I'm quite happy with that. I managed to finally get one big set-piece battle with the majority of their dreadnought vessels in one place. They've managed to scrounge another one from somewhere and draw it in to defend Seleucami. But this fleet at Bos Pitti, once this extra Praetor arrives, we'll be sending them right back in to wipe out what's left of it, I think. I'll keep an eye on it. Depends what they reinforce it with, but yeah. Meanwhile, over here, our next order of business really is to deal with Corsin, because in orbit right now is a Separatist fleet which has 7 Providence dreadnoughts in it, as well as a slightly silly number of Kolivexes, of course. And 9 of these carriers, which all carry fighters and bombers as well. So it's going to be a bit of an icky sort of, oh dear God, there's going to be so many fighters kind of a battle coming up. But I'm going to send Zinj in there to try and deal with this now. Unlike last time, I'm going to be a lot more cautious, and I think I'm going to deploy 2 of her Praetors, and then as soon as they start getting seriously damaged, we'll just get out of there, and we'll come back again later and try another time, if necessary. They only have 7 dreadnoughts there after all this time, not 20. So I can live with not getting them all in one fell swoop. I'm also going to try and deploy from further away this time, particularly bringing in the making sure the Corvette sort of screen is set up as best as I can get it long before the enemy makes contact, in the hopes of maybe keeping it alive a bit longer, because losing our Corvettes last time proved to be catastrophic against a fleet that was mostly made of dreadnoughts armed with concussion missiles. So, yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was not good. I mean, the battle lasted so long that they were always pretty much going to destroy all my Corvettes anyway. I would have needed to bring like 100 Corvettes to that battle in order to actually have enough to make it work, I think. And that's not an exaggeration. I think it actually would have required about 100, because I think I went in there with about 20, and they only lasted for about 20% of the battle. So anyway, I'm going to unpause, and we're going to do this. I believe I have a probe droid inbound to Orinda right now. Then again, that might... I don't remember, actually. I'm going to send one to Maigito. Oh yeah, no, we do have one inbound to Orinda. I'll send the second one to Maigito to go and check that out as well. Because Orinda, Maigito, Moonlist, those are now kind of our primary objectives, really. We've achieved what we set out to do over here. I don't even really want to take the ground on Salukame. I just want to wipe out that fleet, really, if I'm honest. But, I mean, Vader has nothing to do right now, admittedly, over here, so I might bring him back over here and try and take Salukame on the ground anyway. But, yeah. Might bring him over here, actually. It would feel weird to have Vader not take part in the final battle. I feel like, almost, but regardless. Yeah, that's the lay of the land. Zinj, go do what you do.
Tactical battle imminent.
Corset, planetary... Oh, fiddlesticks. They decided to launch a ground assault before I could get there. Well... Okay, let's fight it out, I guess. Okay. Oh, alright, okay. I got this place mixed up with Carida. I thought it was a different place entirely. Alright, it's this map. Alright. Yeah, I don't really have a coherent plan for how I'm going to deal with this. The way my troops are dispersed across the map is honestly very inconvenient. I'd much like to bottle up in the base if possible, but that doesn't seem to be an option, so...
Guns ready. Stay with the
You guys move up here.
How's the good part? Move up. Turret powered up.
You here and you here, and you guys can't capture this point at all. Because you're vehicles.
Going in. Watch the
Try
charge.
and move down here into the middle. You guys...
Making way.
Try and move down here into the middle.
Turret online.
We've secured a landing zone.
You go here.
Heavy guns ready.
Bring Artie up to, like, there.
Here. I'm a holding up. Follow behind me.
We'll take turns.
Move.
Get over to here.
Shield up. On it. I've got you. Get ready to move in. Area
Tell you what.
secure. Sound off.
Get some Republic troopers in this thing.
That'll buy some time.
Move them over here. Oh, hello. Right, yes, I did build a turret over here, didn't I? Get a little sneak preview of what they're bringing with them. A couple of multi-troop transports. Don't see them very often. Then, honestly, I don't rate them that highly. They look big and intimidating, but they're actually not that great.
That's how you do it.
Alright, let's
Building under
do
construction.
that. Let's see what will bring you over here.
Hey.
Since these commandos seem to have managed to get here
Together.
faster than I thought they would.
Defensive position. Watch the charge. Squad stands together. Auto guns online.
Aw, you really do like
Shields deployed.
construction complete.
Troublemaker. It's on. Maintain
Make
position.
you 6.
Landing zone.
It concerns me this little bit, 'cause I'm just not sure if you've got the range from there to actually contribute.
Shield up.
Turret constructing.
Turret online. Go. I got
Bring
your
you
back.
down here. No units left over there? Okay.
Area secure. Building under construction.
Ready for backup.
Construction complete.
Fighters won't see it. You will be more trouble.
Oh, hello. Fight's on.
Covering fire. Go. Close range assault. Got your back. Auto guns online.
Alright, let's have to bring you guys up here.
Right. Pausing. Fire.
Construction.
Fine. Fine. Like we drilled. Go.
Turret constructing.
Right.
Alright, dealing with these pretty handily, it looks like.
Take cover and fire.
Good, good, good.
I'm your reinforcement. Ready when you are. Shield up. Need time to cool.
Looks like they've captured this point down here.
Auto gun ready to go. Go. Med support.
Let's see if we can cut them off.
Fired up.
Construction complete.
Turret's ready. Show the zone.
Well, that's a wrap.
I'm a holding up. Follow me. Laying in. I've got point.
Oh, hello, MTTs.
Back at it. Turret online.
Ah, we got more of you as well. Let's see if we can pull you back a bit. Oh my dear sweet lord, we're about to be annihilated by space bombs. Yeah, I did not see that coming quick enough to do anything about it. Okay, the arty's being a bit useless, unfortunately. Wow. Just take these things out, please. Take out this tripod as well. Nice, okay, now we can focus on all these hordes of B1s. Don't see B1 hordes very often these days, do we? Oh, this poor Republic troop has just got annihilated by wrist rockets. Are you getting involved, Artie? Like, come on. Come the fuck on here, guy. Get my guy. You should have the range from there, surely. Come on, Artie. Pull your fucking thumb out. There we go. You're starting to make a difference now. Lost a landing zone. How did they get up there? My god. Alright, fine. All back in this direction.
Now we're talking. Perfect. Heavy guns ready. Auto guns online.
Only not much in the way of replacements up here. I seem to have managed to get most of my garrison force killed. That's never a nice thing to admit, but yep, I seem to have screwed the pooch there a bit. Why on earth does the ATPT have the hunt for enemies ability? That's so weird. Oh my god, they just did an orbital strike on something. Come on, come on. I don't think any of the clones down here left have rocket launchers. They're all support units.
Unit destroyed.
Unit destroyed.
You guys need to leg it. You need to get out of here. Get back here. Ah, Artie's gone as well. I'm feeling we might lose this one, honestly. It's not going well at all. I would almost be tempted to retreat or auto-resolve if it went for the fact that I really don't want to do this battlefield again on the attack, because this one was a pain to take. It really was. You finally get here and getting involved, they are. Come on, guys, we need to bring these tripod thingies down. Either that or just fall back and try and bring them into turret range. Are they attacking this over? Oh yeah, they are attacking that over there. Okay, nice. The turret attacking the tripods or just shooting these B2s? I think it's just shooting the B2s. Oh god. Alright, move, move, move. You've got incoming, boys. You've got No, you haven't. Did they call it a bombing run on this? What are they doing?
Enemy bombardment is ready.
Alright. Certainly won't surprise me if they decide to bomb this turret, so let's try and stay away from it.
Reinforcement point contested. Scanning infantry.
Okay, it's another tripod down.
Where you going, trooper?
Oh god, incoming.
Destroyed.
We'll call it an accident.
Alright then. Okay.
The snipers. Closing range.
It's not like I was using any of these anyway, right? Uh-oh.
Covering fire. Go.
Run away! The turret's about to get bombed. Right, you're welcome to do that. I've got plenty of credits to replace it with.
Online. We have not secured the area.
More the merrier.
Shield deployed.
Alright, folks, at this point I will come back to you either when we've lost the battle or we've won it, because this is taking forever now. Okay, so we lost in the end. It kind of came close at the end, but we ended up in one of those scenarios like we've had much earlier in this campaign where the AI was refusing to retreat and I didn't have enough to really attack with, so I kind of attempted to push out a few times with like the 3 infantry units I had left. And it just didn't work, and then they got a lucky airstrike on my units and they managed to move in and wipe out the rest of my base before the stuff could respawn and blah 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 blah. As you can see, we killed a whole ton of stuff, but it wasn't enough. And that's very annoying. In fact, very annoying doesn't even begin to cut it, but never mind, we're going to take out the fleet, hopefully, if they're not running away, which they do appear to be, which is actually very, very annoying. About to invade Corson? I mean, they already have.
Tactical battle imminent.
Alright, what do they got there then? Yeah. Alright, well, let's kill this anyway, but it's not what I was hoping for. Although, interestingly, Corson doesn't look like it's actually changed hands. I may have actually killed all their attacking units, and all they had left are ones that spawn in from spawn point, from field bases. And if that's the case, that's pretty funny.
All crew accounted for. Fixing course. I copy that. This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that.
Moving out. Hulter responding.
This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo!
Yeah, in you guys come.
On my way, Commander. As you wish, Commander.
And some dreadnoughts as well. Although, are
Ready
you...
to commence.
No, you're heavy cruisers. I thought they were maybe carrier dreadnoughts, but they're not.
Yep. Charging generator. Ready for attack orders. Moving to attack.
Okay, we've got a lot of small ships to take out on this one.
Delta frigate here. Deploying mine.
At your command.
Nowhere to run.
Heading for attack coordinates.
Try and use the focused fire from the dreadnoughts to take out a lot of these little ships.
Targeting at maximum firepower.
Falling out of formation.
As you wish, Commander.
Draw their fire.
Destroyer ready. Destroyer holding.
Attack
Ready to
formation.
commence.
Slightly disgusting number of fighters, but you know how it is.
Woohoo! Awaiting your orders, sir. I copy that.
Nothing we haven't seen before.
What's the order?
Concentrating fire.
Ready for attack orders. Consider it. Destroyer station keeping. Ready. We'll win.
Oh yeah, that's the reason for the disgusting number of fighters. Right here, it's these things.
Ready to update orders.
These were like the sort of assault dropship things, weren't they, from the Phantom Menace? But anyway, in this mod, they're essentially they carry droid fighters.
Eliminating target.
Proton bombs in the chute. We'll level them.
Probably a good idea to take them out before they can respawn even more.
Destroy them. Loading ordnance. At your command.
I've got them in my sights.
Oh, we've got a little lone corvette in the back. Our little scout unit. There we go, wiped out. Nice to see. We lost one corvette at the end. I actually saw it explode. Surprised that's all we lost, honestly, but it is what it is. Right, so that's where they got it at Rinder. My Gito, we don't know yet. The probe is about to arrive. They have bugger all there, apparently. Question is, where did the rest of their fleet go? Did it go to Ithor or did it go to Wayland? And the answer to that question is I don't know.
Unit in production.
Can we hire a new commander yet? Or is that not available? I did pick the option down here, the second one, but I don't know if we actually...
Researching.
If there's any left for us to choose, you know? In the meantime, I guess we'll send Admiral Useless over here to go and take command of this fleet.
Moving to coordinates.
Construction complete.
Let's get Vader ready to move out and all.
Constructing.
Oh, I see. Mintuin, you really don't have a lot of slots, do you? Well, I'll give you the planetary shield generator anyway, because frankly... Well...
Constructing. Building under construction.
You,
Building under construction.
You probably need it. I mean, even if I'm just using a basic garrison, the relentless airstrikes in that last one on Corsin just well, they were relentless, as I said.
Building started.
They were they made the battle incredibly difficult to win. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I will rejoin you. I think when there's something worthy of discussion in the offing. In the meantime, I should just continue mopping up and dealing with stuff. And hello! We have an Imperator Star Destroyer. Lovely.
Star Destroyer responding.
Finally, quite as giving me some more ships. That's good to see. Alright, let's jets. I'll be back. Alright, so I've done some scouting. We've got eyes on right now my Gito. Or at least we did. Maybe it's run out by now. Orinda, where they've got a small little fleet here. A lot of little Munifexes for some reason. That's larger than your average quotient of Munifexes for some reason. The AI is building a lot of them, I've noticed, and they're going to very strange places now that they've run out of Dreadnought shipyards. Their fleets are starting to look weirder and weirder. Speaking of Dreadnoughts, though, I've discovered another 2 of their Lucahulk battleships hanging out over Wayland here. They backed up by a couple of Providence Dreadnoughts as well. So it's a mean little fleet. Obviously, I think Zinj can totally handle it. I don't know if she'll need to withdraw in order to do it as efficiently as possible, but we'll certainly give it a go. They've still got a little fleet here at Seleucami, which I think I'm going to take care of. I've now got Admiral What's-His-Face here, Malene, in charge. I am just building some corvettes for him at the moment. As you can see, I've got some queued up on Bospidi, so I'm waiting to build those before we go any further with him. Mon Calamari, excellent. Your shipyards are up and running once again. Let's build some corvettes from there to reinforce old Peleon, who is holding the line magnificently up here. The Separatists did try to make an attack at Pamant, which did include another Lucahulk, actually, and it has been destroyed quite handily. Didn't take any casualties whatsoever on that one. It was a very, very small fleet. Tried to attack Pamant while Peleon was at Mintui, and he just went boop, boop, and intercepted them. So that went quite well. Wasn't super exciting, but was very satisfying to destroy them. I've pretty much unpaused the game now, really, mostly just because I'm going to have Zinj take a crack at Wayland, essentially. Try and take out these 2 battleships and 2 dreadnoughts.
Let's run this gauntlet.
Yes, let's. Aside from that, I've brought Vader and his army into orbit over Bospidi because I think I'm going to try and take Seleucami's ground after we knock out their orbit as well. Might as, you know, I suppose it's not a bad idea. Moving on to Jabim wouldn't be terrible either, because it would mean that Pamant can't be attacked from through the back door. Yeah, I have to admit it did come as a bit of a surprise when I got the notification that an enemy fleet is inbound to Pamant, I was like, what? How? And then I realised, oh yeah, there's totally a hyperspace lane here between it and Jabim that I sort of forgot existed momentarily, so awkward. Bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. So yeah. Oh, the game just gonna... Alright, let's pay very close attention, because the AI is obviously moving something. Because that's why the game freezes like this. It's because it's moving something. Question is, what is it moving and where? It's probably moving something to Wayland, if I had to guess. Since that's the only place I'm attacking right now. They've got their little enemy fleet approaching Wayland notification, and they're moving something from probably Dathomir, I would imagine. So, or they're just bringing ground troops to Pamant. Crap. Oh, jeez. All right. What have we got on the ground here to deal with that? We've got a heavy factory, a Senate office, and that's pretty much it. They're not going to have any air support, at least, but... Oh, boy. All right. This is an unpleasant surprise. I really should have kept Paleon there, though. I should have known better. You got to wait around for a while in case they do decide to follow up with a ground attack. And I did not wait around. All right, get down here. We need to hold the critical location. That's all that matters on this map. And whoa, hello. Yep, there's the big Star Destroyer that's either crashed or is being scrapped, or crashed and is being scrapped. Alright, here it comes. Hopefully they don't decide to go up here to my base. That would be bad. Of course, nothing's stopping them from doing that. I should probably send someone back there to build some turrets.
Construction complete.
Power generator, but I don't know what that actually gets them in this mod. I've never really... I don't think it stops my turrets working or anything, so... B2's inbound this time. Oh, crumbs, yeah. This is what I feared. So we can get you guys up here. Sprint. Oh, but
Unit destroyed.
thing is, really need to defend the critical location as well.
Unit destroyed.
Okay, I managed to get one tank over there. I don't know we're going to be able to hold this one, honestly. It's not looking great. Oh god, we're just being drowned! Yeah, we're boned. I can't deal with these numbers. This is insane. Ah well. I can't believe that we've lost Pamant. That's so annoying. That's a bit, and I lost it purely because I forgot to leave Paleon in orbit. That's the only reason we lost it. That is. It's beyond frustrating. Kylura now is under attack. Oh. Why can't you Separatists just fucking give up, man? You've lost. The campaign's nearly over. Just give over. Alright, let's deal with Wayland now, shall we? This is the funny thing about the Empire War AI. It can actually become weirdly more competent and more frustrating the closer to the end you actually get, because the more its forces are concentrated. Alright then, okay, well.
Choose your reinforcements.
Adjusting course. Loaded.
Who needs fixing? We can do that.
Trio of support pelters.
Right, sir.
They've got an ion cannon, because of course they do.
This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that. This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that. This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that. This is it. Right, sir.
Okay.
On my way, Commander.
A couple of dreadnoughts as well.
Standing by. I copy that. This is it. Destroyer at station keeping. Ready to commence.
Oh my
What's the order?
dear lord, what are they
Is it,
doing?
sir? Right, sir.
You
Woohoo!
guys don't need to spread out like that, you know.
Watch out for those asteroids.
Standing
Oh
by.
no, the turning
What's the
circle
order?
is so bad. It was all perfectly set up, and then they decided to move.
Destroy 'em.
Have all my corvettes been wiped out once again? I do believe they have, yes.
Ready to update orders.
Taking fire.
Yes.
I'm on them.
Got another Providence, but I don't think there's much more than this, is there?
We'll beat
Unless they reinforced sneakily again.
Destroyer ready.
Go. Getting a lock.
Oh, yes, there is in fact two of them. I almost forgot.
Ready.
Attack formation.
Locking on target. Cruiser here. They won't know what hit them.
reporting in. I'm on.
Ready to update orders.
Alright guys, take this thing out.
Stay in formation.
Yes.
The shields on
Okay, this Praetor's not looking very healthy. Unfortunately though, I think its engines are gone, so...
Primary engine system is down.
We're losing ground.
We've lost the iron cannons.
Prepare for jump.
let's try and get out of here before they kill the other engine on this thing. I hope we can escape on one damaged engine here.
You've got an interceptor on your tail.
Looks like we can. Nice. Okay, so in the end, actually, as a result of that, we only killed 2 Providence-class dreadnoughts, and they got all of that in return, which feels like a pretty solid defeat, actually. Yeah, not happy about that at all.
Constructing unit.
And now what? Now what's happening? Oh, right, yeah, they're coming in through Kailura because it's totally undefended. That I can understand. I'm going to have to retreat these ground forces out of orbit. Just nothing's going right for me at the moment. Right here, right in at the death. Victory in the campaign is virtually guaranteed, and yet, the more I want to finish this campaign and move on, the more the game refuses to let me do so.
Some troops.
Oh well. I am not going to show you the rest of this. I'm going to skip ahead a bit, because I'm just going to hit the retreat button in a few seconds. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We're in a battle, as you can see. Skipped ahead a bit. I was getting a little frustrated with the game and decided to just stop recording for a while and take care of a few things, which took longer than I thought it would. Lots of backwards and forwards, fleet battles bouncing around from place to place. The enemy actually managed to take Kailura back off me while Zinj was out of town, wasn't able to defend the place. Yeah, and then I've taken it back now, and it's been backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. We're currently attacking Seleucami, though, as I promised we would eventually with Vader and his boys. They are here on Seleucami, and I thought I'd just chime in here, because I forgot that Seleucami has a nice sort of unique battle map in this mod, which I think matches up with the way it looked in the Clone Wars TV show, with these kind of weird, big-looking rock things. And I just thought to myself, you know, it'd be a little bit of a shame not to include this in the actual recorded material. So here we are. The enemy seems to be beginning things with an immediate attempt at a counterattack. I don't think it's going to end very well for them. Oh, there's commando droids. I think they are. Vader's coming for you. There's an infantry-only path right over the middle here. Most of my deployed army is in fact infantry, so that ain't going to be a problem. And Vader himself, of course, is infantry, so... guys, what are you doing? Get over there. You've all lost the plot a bit, haven't you? Except for Vader. He's the only one here with a brain, apparently. That sounds about right. Come on, over this bridge. Go ahead and use your force push ability. There you go. Oh yeah, go ahead and crush this MTT if you can. Really? Alright, fine. Crush that tank instead. No, don't. I guess. Nothing's going over here. Come back over here a bit, boys. We're pushing hard on our drop zone at the moment. You go ahead and crush that. Everybody kill this thing, please. Before it runs someone over. Where's Vader? There he is. Ah, excellent. Here we go. Let's reinforce our original LZ as well while we're at it. Bombing run available, you say? Well, I have a gentleman who synergizes magnificently with the old bombing run. Am I going to be allowed to do this on the... not, am I? Are we going to get up there and destroy that first? Now you will know true suffering, he says. It's almost as if he's talking to me. Yes, mow down those B1s, please. Right, make your way up there. Really throwing everything they've got at us, aren't they? But it won't be enough. Alright, just taking out buildings over here, so I'm going to send Vader back this way. Come on, move it up. Take that. Yeah, take that turret first and then worry about the other stuff, I suppose. Vader and friends, you could move up there.
What is your directive?
Go, Vader, go. Interesting. It's like when you hear a sound from his lightsaber and he draws it, and then when he's got his lightsaber out like that, it's sort of the correct length. But it's when he's like idle and he's not doing anything that the lightsaber is the incorrect length. It's very weird. See, look at him right now. His lightsaber looks normal. You can... Yeah, look at that. Did you see that? When his lightsaber is supposed to go away, it actually gets longer. That's sort of funny. So there's just a little bug there, I've noticed. I don't know if that's a vanilla Vader model. It's probably nothing to do with the developers. It'll be a vanilla game issue, but that's pretty darn funny.
You will not escape this time.
Right, Cody, give me a sensor ping over here of their base, please. Oh, beautiful.
Concentrating fire.
There we go. I reckon that's going to take out at least one of the buildings. Took out that one. In fact, I think it took them all out. Yes, it did. Lovely.
Do not fail me.
Let's do this. Left.
More or less done here now, aren't I? Just a question of mopping up. Let's get you guys on that, actually. Let's get you over here.
Follow me.
The enemy has a landing zone over there. Why are you shooting that empty bunker, you weirdos? Why you do this? Ah, they're retreating. Lovely. Alright.
What is it?
We are done here, I think. Is there any way across this river without There must be. Or is there? You know, without just taking the infantry bridge across the middle. Alright, there we go. Slukamite taken care of.
Achieved.
So that was a place where the Separatists were repeatedly marshalling their fleets.
Constructing.
So, oh yeah, here's another thing to update. We have Octavian Grant, a Tier 3 Admiral. He is the replacement for Tarkin. Turns out, when Tarkin died, we opened up a position for him. It took a while for the game to sort of actually do it, but we got a selection of admirals we could have as sector commanders, and there are different lists from the regular admirals. And of the ones on there, the best one I could find was Octavian Grant. He's a Tier 3 commander. He has a Venator, the Audacity, and the bio for him is that Grant is a former Tapani noble who served with distinction in the Tapani Home Defense Fleet. He left the Sector Defense Fleet to go fight for the Republic against the Separatist threat, where he proved to be an effective tactician. Eventually became one of the first Moffs, the officer in charge of Emerald Banner Command. So those would be Moff Octavian Grant, who's now in charge of our main fleet over here, which currently has the Mandated 2 in it. Paleon's still hanging out over in Mintuine at the moment. I think maybe we'll move swiftly onto Jabim in a second here. And go ahead and take it. Arguably, don't even need to move the fleet in order to do that, but probably should just to be on the safe side, eh? But that will lock out the enemy from doing a back passage assault on Pamant again, which is something they've been doing, and it's been kind of annoying. At the moment, I've got Zinj inbound towards Arinda as we slowly work our way towards Maigito and then Moonalist. Moonalist is it. It is the end. Once we take Moonalist, I'm officially kissing goodbye to this campaign. The only big Separatist fleet I can now currently see at the moment is this one at Wayland. It's this here with 2 Lugog battleships and 6 dreadnoughts. That's going to be fun with an exclamation mark to deal with. Don't know who's going to get the honours, really. It might be Grant. Not really sure, though. He's fleet at the moment. We have a single Praetor. Mandated 2. He does have an Imperator Star Destroyer. Not my best fleet available, though, admittedly. Not my best at all. Paleon's is arguably much better. We're currently building a Dreadnought shipyard on Mintuine, actually. I've got one on Mon Calamari and should soon have one set up on Pamant as well. Get the trio of shipyards up and running. Building lots of scout probes at the moment as well, just to try and keep an eye on what's going on everywhere. So, yeah, that's all there is to report for now. I'll get back to you soon. I guess my next thing to do will be to take Arinda. At this point, though, it's just one repeated grand battle after another on maps we've already seen a dozen times or over. You know, I've actually been doing a lot of auto-resolving, believe it or not. I have actually been biting the bullet and taking the plunge and doing auto-resolve quite frequently. Most of the time it's been working out okay. Although, I auto-resolved taking Kailura back with my ground forces and I lost 14 clone trooper platoons in the process. This army's looking a bit slimmer, that's why. The auto-resolve deleted 14 platoons of clone troopers. Even I am not quite that incompetent when I do a manual battle. Yeah, wow. I'd love to see what can kill 14 clone trooper platoons all at once, to be honest with you, because, I mean, you've seen this when we've done all those battles on Rusan over here with all of these guys. You saw how effective they were. So, did they just run them all over with vehicles? What happened there? What was the plan? I don't know what it was, but the Separatists apparently destroyed 14 platoons, which is why I've got lots of replacements queued up on Anaxes and Alsakan and Coruscant at the moment. Absolute madness, but we're at that stage. It would appear where I can afford to lose 14 clone trooper platoons, and it doesn't actually matter. So, and that's really when you've gotten to the point where it's sort of like the campaign has ceased to matter. I just want to get to the finish line. You know, when I can take those kind of losses and it still doesn't matter. It's like all the tension has gone at this point. We just want to get to the end It's like playing a late game playthrough of an Elder Scrolls game where you're basically god tier and nothing can hurt you, and all you want to do is finish the main quest. That's kind of where I'm at right now with this game, honestly. So, yeah.
Bring her around. Board stands together.
And there's Arinda. Hello. What do they have? What? 2 Colivexes? Auto-resolve. And look, we managed to lose a Venisher and a Victory too, somehow. Because auto-resolve works on a different plane of existence to the rest of us, it seems. Whatever, move the army up there. I don't know how. I really don't know how. Anyway. What to do with Seleucami? I kind of want to bring Octavian over to the left there to try and attack Wayland, but that would leave this bit here kind of wide open, unfortunately. I suppose Pelion could sort of move his ass over to Pamant and sort of take over defending this little sector here. I move him to Pamant. I've been having some really terrifically bad lag spikes actually as well, just like this one. These have been happening a lot. So the AI is obviously moving large units of something around in the background. I'm thinking maybe if I take Jabim and then I leave Pelion sort of at Pamant so he can sort of kind of quick react when he needs to, and that would leave me essentially able to move Octavian out of here. That just means we need to take Jabim first, I suppose. And yeah, well, anyway, either way, folks, I think I'll be back later, and honestly, I may be back when we're at Moonalist. I mean, it's at Maigito at least, anyway. I think that's what we're going to do. I'll be back when we're ready to take Maigito, honestly, at this point, because it's just the game is becoming quite boring at this point. We're really just playing mop up, and it's not very exciting. So, and I'm constantly dealing with this as well, as you can see. So, I'll be back, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Arinda. It's raining, the place is covered in trees, and we're here to take it in the name of the Empire. It's a new, unique map we've not seen before, so I thought I'd hop in and just be like, yeah, why didn't we record this battle? It's kind of interesting. In fact, do you know what? I'm not sure how unique it is. I think we may have defended this one in the past as the Republic. Yes, we did. I remember this big lake over here. And the base is over here, and yes, okay, but obviously I've never attacked it, and when you're attacking, you start all the way down here in this kind of valley, and sort of have to work your way up this way. Interesting, yeah, no wonder I didn't recognize it. Anyway, regardless, we gotta work our way up here. We've got some arty in the backfield here. I'll leave a unit of clones to sort of lock this place down. Might want to bring up arty, I'm not sure. Sort of weird. From here it could probably hit the enemy base, but the enemy base is covered by a shield generator at the moment, so it's not really helpful, is it? This is, of course, not the main army with Vader, so we don't have Cody or Vader. Just a bunch of regular old units to get the job done with. Shouldn't hopefully be too much of a problem. Except they've got a base building over here, which we'll probably go take care of first. If we're lucky, it might be a planetary shield generator or something. In which case, that will enable us to have some air support because Admiral Zinj and her fleet are currently in orbit, able to provide air support and orbital bombardment for us once we've, you know, cleared out any necessary obstacles on the ground. Ah, like that ion cannon, for example. Come on, Juggernaut. Speed it up. There we go.
Bombing run available.
Alright. Oh, sneaky little droidica, I see you there. Right, let's get over here, shall we? Take this next landing zone. Can the Juggernaut make it over here? Looks like it can. I was sort of wondering if this was maybe an infantry only path here across the water, but it looks like nope. That is not the case.
Support fire ready! Defensive position! Watch the charge!
Some bad guys coming up behind us, looks like. Not that I really care, honestly. Oh yeah, wipe out those B2s, please. And then this turret, and then finish this off. Lovely. Move in, take that. Increase our pop cap. So we can bring some more guys in. Continue the advance. Deal with these guys. It's taking far too long for the Juggernaut to kill them, frankly. Okay.
There we go! Here we go!
I do like the A5 Juggernaut. It's sort of a bit mediocre in all respects, but it's sort of also not too bad, generally speaking. The 3 heavy anti-vehicle blaster cannons are kind of helpful, so... Aside from that, though, its armament is not great. It's just 1 anti-infantry blaster cannon. In addition to the others. It's not the best, it's not the worst. One of the reasons I go with it a lot is, as I've said, it feels very Empire-y. It looks a little bit like an AT-AT on wheels. So it feels thematic from that point of view, but also, actually, something did occur to me at the start of this battle, in fact, when I was deploying it, which was that, actually, in Awakening of the Rebellion, which is what we're going to play after Fall of the Republic, the Empire does get A5 Juggernauts. There's a unit that we will encounter in that mod. Interestingly, though, with the possible exception, I think, of one unique hero character, the Empire doesn't get A4 Juggernauts, the really big ones. They don't get those. I guess they went out of production sometime after the Fall of the Republic and the Rise of the Empire, because much like the LAT, they just stopped using it. Let's keep moving up this way. Oh, stop shooting the empty bunker. Look, it's our bunker now, it's red. Yeah, turbo laser tower up there, that's what you should be worried about. Once again, a big mass of clone troopers is getting the job done. Oh, hello, Mr. Tank. Goodbye, Mr. Tank. He did not last long, did he? Who in there has got the grenade launchers? I think it's the support guys, the medic / mechanic squads. I think they're the ones that have got the grenade launchers. Do notice that from time to time.
Covering fire, go!
Come on, rebuild it. There we go. Bit of interface overlap there, I think, was messing with it. Oh, do we want to bring anything in at this point? Possibly just more clones, honestly. And a second Juggernaut? Why not? Double up on it.
Construction complete.
Finally.
And then we're going to essentially march across this shallow lake here and straight towards the enemy base. There should be a lot of turrets over there, though, from what I recall.
You won't be more trouble.
Alright, here we go.
Enemy behind! Buy me time.
turbo laser tower taking out one of our juggernauts at the moment, and I don't appreciate that at all. That is an ungodly amount of rockets, and I love it. Yeah, they have a lot of defense positions up here for turrets and stuff. So you guys take cover mode. Let's get our last unit of Phase 1 clones to defend this. Well, let's get up there and kill that turbo laser tower with that stonking, ridiculous amount of rockets. Thank you. Still more B1s sneaking up behind us there. Kind of annoying, really. Wait a minute. Oh, hello. I've just noticed.
Y-wing here. Bombing run cancelled.
Can we... Alright, no, you know what? No. Just stay where you are. Advance further up this way. I will send one of these units up here to go take a look at the planetary shield generator. Let's say take a look at. We're gonna have to kill it, aren't we? You can't bomb the planetary shield generator. It stops bombers from attacking. Stops everything. That's kind of what makes it good. And that is a cheeky sod of a turbo laser tower right behind the barrier. Like, that never happens normally. That's quite rare, actually. Every time I'm defending a planet with one of these, of course the rockets do still go through it, which is kind of funny. I'd forgotten that. Yeah, whenever I'm defending a planet, the turbo laser towers are very rarely inside the shield. Of course, that would be the most sensible place to put them after all, but yeah, it does rarely seem to happen. Yeah, no, I can't bring in a bombing run. Takes some destroying this shield generator, isn't it? There we go. Just taking this out yet? They're doing their best. It's taken them a little while. If we kill the power generators, will that do the job? Still struggling to find out the relevance of the power generator in vanilla. Looks like it... No, actually we blew up that, so yeah. It's gonna be a double whammy of orbital bombardment and bombing run, isn't it? Boosh. And then for good measure. Lovely. We actually didn't manage to lose those juggernauts in the end. They're in flames. They're gonna need some spare parts, but... Nice one. There we go. Pause it.
Building started.
Get the necessary bits and bobs built, I suppose. And yeah, let's take a look. So we've got Seleucumai, we've got Jabim. I took Jabim as well. It was not a very interesting battle. I believe at the moment... Yes, Octavian, he's currently on his way to Roche Asteroids. Or was it? No, I think he's on his way to Contrum because he's going to go and attack Wayland, I think, pretty soon. That's the next thing I'm going to do with him. Try and get rid of these two Luca Hulks. Could be the last two Luca Hulks the Separatists have, for all we know. At this point, don't know what's going on with the state of their general fleets and what have you. I can see Ithor, I can see Mygito, I can see Wayland, I can see Cymirth. Yeah. They've got something big waiting in the wings. I don't know where it is. But, my replacement clones are starting to be produced. Excellent. Well, folks, next up is Mygito. I think I'll try and get everything in position for that. I honestly think I'm probably gonna pull Vader over this way to come and take Mygito and Moonlist himself for the climactic final battles. So I'll get everything organised for that, though. There's going to be lots of logistical moving of crap around in order to make that happen, of course. And I will come back if we attack Wayland and end up having a battle with those 2 Lucahulk battleships too. Or indeed, I'll come back if anything else of interest happens. Hello there, folks. That's the sound of Victory 2 getting vaporized, unfortunately. We're at Wayland. Unfortunately, there's only 1 Lucahulk battleship here. The other one's buggered off somewhere. Don't know where. But thought you might want to witness its destruction anyway at the hands of the Mandator 2. And one of our Star Destroyers as well. Our ISDs, Imperators. There it is. Doing what it does best, which is shoot lots of stuff. Kind of astonished at how quickly that the Victory died, mind you, but hey, I didn't even jump it in very close. I actually jumped in a bit further away and moved over here, so... But, yeah, the turbo lasers on the donut certainly did their work.
Commander, they're hitting us. Where'd he go? Nowhere to run.
Oh yeah, they do have an ion cannon as well, which has so far been repeatedly shooting the Mandator.
Commander. Ready to deploy. They are finished. I can't hold it. I'm pulling out.
They've taken out our launch bay.
It's going to be dead pretty darn soon. There's a few tiny ships, but I think they're probably spawned from the shipyard, aren't they?
I can't take another hit like that.
Don't think I actually have any plans to conquer Wayland on the ground. I'm sending Vader on his way over towards Maigito at the moment. So, it's going to be a bit of a hit and run job. Whoosh, there he goes. Move on and take out the rest of this rabble. Rebel rabble, you might say.
This is bad. Falling out of formation.
Could have brought in Octavian himself, I suppose. If this guy dies, maybe I will if I've got the pop cap for it. Funny thing about Octavian, though, is I think he has the same voice acting as Tarkin. Because when I recruited him, obviously I had to click the button down in the menu in the campaign map to recruit him, but it took a while for him to turn up, and I was midway through shuffling some units around on the campaign map where I suddenly hear Tarkin's voice going, you know, saying some sort of voice line about how, now I have returned, things will soon be in order. And I was like, wait, what? What? Does Tarkin respawn? What? And then I realized, oh no, it's just Grant had suddenly been built, and he has the same voice acting as Tarkin, as it turns out. So I got my hopes up there for a minute. I was like, what? Incredible scenes! What an amazing twist! But no. I thought he'd done a Grievous, but apparently not. Yeah. I harp on a lot about Awakening the Rebellion. It's mostly because I'm really hyped to actually play the new version of it next after we're finished with this. But one of the things that mod does, and it's one of my favourite features of it actually, is you don't have permadeath for the important heroes. The important big head honcho heroes like Darth Vader and the Emperor and so on and so forth, Luke Skywalker, etc. They don't perma die. They will respawn after a certain amount of time if they're the enemy heroes you kill, and friendly heroes get captured and you have to go rescue them from another planet, from an enemy held planet, which is quite fun and interesting. So people like Thrawn, people like Vader, they'll keep coming back. They're like the Bad Penny. They'll always turn up again after a while, which is quite fun. Versus there's two schools of thought in this, really. You know, one of them is that the permadeath is awesome and people really like it. I'm of the persuasion where actually no, I don't. Honestly, I don't want Vader to be killed in a really dumb way. I want him to be able to come back, because then it encourages you to actually use those units and be aggressive with them and actually get some use out of them. I mean, how many times have you seen me have an admiral in the fleet and then just have it either not deploy it or just deploy it right off in the corner of the map in the desperate hopes it won't be killed and I can at least get its, get the stat boost from it. I don't know about you guys, but I find that to be a really dull way of playing. I want to actually get my guys stuck in there. Vader, for example, in Awakening the Rebellion, he's obviously a beast on the ground as a ground unit. But in space battles in Awakening the Rebellion, he has command of his own Star Destroyer. And what's even cooler is that when the battle starts, he deploys his own personal TIE fighter, leading his own squadron, and he'll fly around and he'll fight in the battle in his little TIE fighter. If his little TIE fighter gets destroyed, it's fine, it doesn't matter. It's the Star Destroyer itself that's what matters in terms of if you want to take Vader out, you have to destroy the Star Destroyer itself, not his TIE fighter. But it's great because you can get his Star Destroyer up there, you can get Vader himself flying around shooting rebels in his TIE fighter, and you don't have to worry too much because if the worst happens and he gets taken out, you just have to go break him out of a rebel prison or something, and you'll get him back. Whereas I had to reload the damn game in this because I managed to get Vader killed in a dumb way after I was trying to use him aggressively. So, all right, mini rant over. Wayland does have a ion cannon, so I am going to have to withdraw Octavian's fleet for now. And of course, right on cue, the game's decided to throw a freeze at me just as I'm trying to move him. Great, good stuff. Folks, I'll be back when we're about to assault Maigito. Maigito, ladies and gentlemen, a frozen, icy mining world that belongs to the banking clan. Apparently the planet's core is made of an incredibly valuable material, and so huge mining operations take place here. According to the blurb screen thingy anyway, but what we care about is those separatist space stations out there in the distance. They have a very tiny fleet here, garrisoning the place, nothing much to worry about. I think it's literally just, it's a few little Munifexes. Not a lot else. So let's send in the troops, shall we? Got 4 Praetors in this fleet now, which is slightly silly.
Let's run this gauntlet.
Heading out.
Aye, aye. Full steam ahead.
Calculating jump to light speed.
Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that. This is it.
The Corvette horde.
Right, sir. Woohoo! I copy that. This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! Reinforcements cancelled. I copy that. This is it.
Ready. Keep going. Commander.
Give me a target. Your orders, General.
I am waiting.
There you go, Zinj.
Yes.
Alright, let's gather all the fighters together, send them up here to engage the enemy.
Squadron, the way is clear.
There's Zinj's ship. What's this thing called?
What do you wish?
Retaliation. Zinj, if I recall correctly, has a very bizarre career. I think she goes off to become some sort of pirate warlord at some point. And then her son is an important character in the post-Return of the Jedi Old Legends canon. In fact, I think he's a playable faction in Thrawn's Revenge, if I recall correctly. Warlord Zinj. Oh, they have a little Munificent here. I guess they might have got it from that heavy frigate shipyard. They are retreating. Fair enough. Saves me the bother. They just flew straight past my little Corvette. That's funny. Boom. Now we'll begin the ground assault. They had a trade port here, apparently. I've merged the 2 main armies. Vader now commands an absolutely vast ground force. I haven't reinforced it with these clone platoons, these replacements down here in the core, because honestly, he doesn't need them. Octavian's over here at Contrum. I've withdrawn him back there from Wayland since he's now blown up that Lucahulk. Presumably the AI does still have that one remaining Lucahulk battleship lurking around somewhere. They're building up a little force here on, what's this place called? Cymirth. But again, it's just little Munifexes and Kolivexes and just tiny frigates really at this point. I've got a bunch of probe droids here I could use to take a look. See what's going on. Oh, game! Game, why? Why are you gonna do that? Why, they must have barely any ships left. What on earth are they moving around that could be causing all this lag? It's probably ground troops, isn't it? I'm sure they've got plenty of ground troops still. Oh, bloody hell. Just, game, just let me move my units. For God's sake. Let me move my little dudes. It's not that hard. Oh, it's nothing but this constantly on the campaign map at the moment. It's been that way for many episodes by now, I know, but it's somehow even worse at the moment than usual. As you can clearly see. Ugh. Yeah, right, I was about to hit the pause button then. I just want to see what these probe droids uncover. They've uncovered not a lot of interest, really. Just a couple of little itty-bitty fleets. It's sort of what I was expecting, really, to be honest. Alright, well, anyway. Ah, oh yes. You can go down there. I've been bringing up, you know, some of our amazing epic garrison forces of legend from places like Bothawai and Emberline and Rusan and Kashyyyk. I've kind of remembered that they were sitting around doing bugger all, so I decided to move them up to these planets here. So the Rusan Legion now are guarding Seleucami, and the former defenders of Kashyyyk are now guarding Jabeem at the moment. There's more still I need to move up, I think. I think the guys on Rishi don't really need to be there anymore, and these guys in the orbit of Emberline need to be moved up too. But yes, I was just sitting there sort of like worrying about separatist counterattacks, and I thought to myself, hang on a minute, I've got a bunch of perfectly good garrisons down here doing absolutely nothing of value. But there's still more here on Christophsis and Rhodia. So, yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I actually have a bunch of stuff down here still. I've got some Carida as well. As you can see, another Praetor down here at Quat that I don't know what to do with. Maybe give it to Octavian, I suppose. Anyway, it's grand battle for Megiddo time, everybody. Let's do this.
Invasion commencing.
Hopefully we'll have a cool, unique map for this. You would hope so. It certainly looks like it. Oh, yes. Yes. Very nice. Doesn't quite look like the old Battlefront 2 map, but it's close enough.
Choose your reinforcements.
The 501st couldn't do it
Distance
better.
calculated.
As you can see, the army is just preposterously massive.
You and me.
At maximum unit capacity. Beginning construction.
Hold it shiny. Let's go.
You may dispense with the pleasantries.
He sort of looks a bit like either Clone Wars or Star Wars Rebels Vader, doesn't he? Something a little off about him.
What now?
Construction complete.
Alert all command.
Touch me.
Oh, this is like giving me. It's not the opposite of a flashback, a flash forward to Hoth. This, isn't it?
You and me.
I should have left some PopCap space for some big walkers.
Not fail me.
Bring some ATTs in, and we have a little proto Hoth here. The Vader with his extra long lightsaber. So silly.
Yes.
I see you little crab droids trying to escape there. Go get him.
All the Republic.
Building under construction.
Too much.
Oh boy. Oh. Spider droids! Oh my god, I haven't seen you in ages! The enemy's using spider droids, everybody! Incredible scenes here. As the AI remembers to use a unit that they've just not bothered with in ages. Always lovely to see. And on the one hand, I kind of get why they don't use spider droids. Even I don't find them that useful as the Separatists. I usually build them just because they're cool, but I mean they look cool, and in that kind of really weird Separatist prequels way.
Destiny lies
But
with me.
I mean, They are a bit rubbish, if I'm honest. I mean, they're probably not rubbish. Like, most units in this mod, they have a niche, and you need to figure out what that niche is, and once you do, they become excellent. But I do find them to be incredibly squishy, I must admit. What are you doing, Vader? You're just going after a turret for some reason. Don't do that. Go after these guys. What are you doing, dude? Come on. Here we go. Now we're doing the whole thing. Funny how snow clone troopers aren't a thing. Oh, they're coming up the middle. Very well, we shall go down the middle ourselves then. Is our LZ protected up there? It is. We've got some guys sat on it, which is good. I remember these being a lot smaller in Battlefront 2. There's a whole thing with Star Wars vehicles and spaceships is where the scale for them isn't quite exactly established and official. So there's some artistic wiggle room. I think that's why you get a Dreadnought version of the Providence in this mod in addition to the regular version, just so both interpretations of its possible scale are accounted for. But I do remember ATTEs being like surprisingly miniature in Battlefront 2. Oh, you guys are coming in from totally the wrong angle. You really don't want to be coming in that direction. You want to be coming in lengthways across like that, but never mind. That was a pretty darn good run, actually, though, to be fair. Even took out the snail tank thing into the bargain. Oh, that's it. That's more or less mopped up. And the enemy is about to surrender. Jolly good.
What is it?
Maigito is ours, which leaves only Moonless standing in our way. At which point the banking clan will be taken out, the separatists will be forced to admit defeat, except for a few stubborn holdouts that no doubt the Empire will have to deal with in the long run, but we ain't going to stick around for that, because that will be boring. Yeah, we're nearly done here. I guess I'll build the mines and tax collection agency and all that garbage just for the sake of doing it, but we're nearly done here, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, we're at 1 hour and 30 minutes for this episode. Should we just go on a bit longer? Shall I call it here? I think I'd better call it here, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, no, that's the thing, though, because otherwise we'll just start a new episode and it'll be 10 minutes long, because all we'll do is take Moonlist and then that'll be it. So I guess we better continue. I guess we better continue. Right? Okay, well, fine then. Extra bumper length, super duper Fall of the Republic finale episode, I guess this is going to be. Let's do it.
Vectoring now.
Move in, Zinj.
Bring her around. Tactical battle imminent.
What have they got? I don't know. It's not a lot, whatever it is. Temperate, mineral-rich world in the Outer Rim. Moonlist is the headquarters of the intergalactic banking clan. The native moons are famed for their financial and mathematical skills, making the IGBC one of the most powerful institutions in the galaxy. This position of strength meant that even with the anti-alien bias, Moonlist served as the financial center of the Empire. Even as part of the Imperial Remnant, the IGBC became guarantor for the New Republic credit. Prior to the Clone Wars, non-moons were rarely allowed on the planet, though this changed with the Republic's victory in the rise of the Empire. Yeah, so even though we're taking them out, it sounds like the old banking clan will survive the end of the Separatist Alliance and do quite well out of it.
Enemy movement.
The banks will be banks, I suppose. That's their mighty fleet, ladies and gentlemen. The mighty fleet of the Separatist Alliance, that's what it's been reduced to.
Choose your reinforcements.
On my way.
Zinj.
Right, sir. Woohoo!
Some corvettes.
I copy that. This is it.
We're not even going to bring in the Praetor on this one, I don't think.
I copy that. This is it. Right, sir. Woohoo! Engines active. Heading to intercept. Right.
Calculating jump to light speed. Calculating jump to light speed. Preparing for hyperspace jump.
I copy that. This is it.
Star Destroyer reporting in. Commander, engaging the enemy.
Go ahead, sir. Yes, General. Reaching enemy hull. Transmit orders. We'll make short work of them.
There they go. Blown out of the sky. Munificent's a pretty good ship, such if you're playing the Separatists, from what I understand. They are, they're one of those ships that's very upgunned for its size. Has some really nice turbo lasers on it.
It is about time. They will know fear.
Oh, I guess they're leaving now. Well, that'll be that then. Where they're retreating to, I don't know. They'll probably sell off those ships and they'll end up being owned by the Black Sun or somebody. There it is. Alright.
As you wish.
I'm going to quickly get this done before the AI decides to throw another spanner into the works
Invasion commencing.
and unnecessarily prolong this final episode. Here we go. Moonless planetary battle imminent. What do we have to expect map-wise? I don't know. I'm not able to look. All I know is they've got some tripods down there, judging by the icon. Oh, it's this map. This is one of the non-campaign skirmish maps, I think. The one with the city on one side, and then the green hills on the other. All right. We've got ARC troopers. Really? That's what we deployed with? All right. Fine. ARC troopers. These guys are still in commission. We didn't sack them all. You're stuck, aren't you? I can't move you.
Choose your reinforcements.
I've seen Kiro's birds tougher than this bunch.
Let's go.
At maximum unit capacity.
You found something.
Construction.
All right, Vader.
Hey, move, move.
Your destiny lies
think that's Cody now arriving in this drop ship thing. Whatever those are called.
What is your directive?
Great. Let's move out. Handily, there's a landing zone like right here, which is very generous. Why are you guys just standing there? Get moving. Same goes for you. And you. Bloody hell.
What?
Oh, nice. You'll get your 501st markings. Of course you have, because you're with Vader. Oh, look at this. How is this not like serious Battlefront 2 single-player campaign nostalgia right here with the 501st and Vader?
We've secured
You
a
may
landing zone.
dispense with the pleasantries.
I have a lot of nostalgia for that game and its campaign. Problem is, it's actually like cause someone, as soon as I mention it, someone in the chat, in the comments, will be like, "Hey, why didn't you do a Battlefront 2 single-player campaign on the channel? That'd be a fun Let's Play to do." Problem is, I actually replayed the Battlefront 2 single-player campaign relatively recently. Actually, I replayed it like past 6 months ago, and I'm really sorry to report this, everybody. Like, it pains me to say this, but it's actually not very good. It's kind of rubbish. I was a little shocked. My rose-tinted glasses had unfortunately obscured the fact that the single-player campaign was not very good. I mean, it had some marvelous cutscenes narrated by Temuera Morrison. Don't get me wrong; those were grand. Oh, hello. It had some marvelous cutscenes, but the actual missions themselves, pretty rubbish. Pretty poor stuff. Were not very fun. The Death Star one in particular was just absolutely frightful. Had to replay it so many times. And it ends on such a whimper as well, because like you don't even get to do Endor. You don't even get to do the Battle of Endor. I think the campaign ends at the Battle of Hoth.
What is it?
And then that's it. You do Hoth, and then that's it. That's the end of the campaign.
Alert all command. You found something. Your destiny lies with me. You must never leave this planet.
You guys all 501st. Actually, no, you're 212th, aren't you? I think bringing in Cody has made so all subsequent clones we bring in have the orange markings. Or something like that.
What is your directive?
Oh boy, this poor thing's taken a beating, hasn't it? Let's get a repair station for it.
What?
Well, there's a critical location just down the road here, so I guess we'll move on and try and take that.
Cover my approach.
In you go, Vader. I will bring in a couple more clone platoons to lock this place down.
With the pleasantries.
Oh, look at that. You got yourselves a bubble shield and everything, and it's totally useless because it's not one of those planets where that's useful. Bad luck. Oh, look, it's a thing. It's one of those. I forget what they're called. Hailfire droids. Yeah, man. Spider droids, hailfire droids. For some reason, the AI was feeling nostalgic in these final few battles of the campaign. They decided to throw some of the old favorites at us. Probably dragged them out of mothballs, to be fair. The hailfire droid, they really could have done with building more of those, honestly. They're quite nasty. They're very fragile, obviously, but they have really good range, so they can kind of just sit in the backfield shooting very, very, very good anti-vehicle rockets at you. I like the hailfire droids when I'm playing as the Separatists. They're an absolute must-have. Watch this thing. I want to like those tanks just because they're cool. I love those things. That's such a brilliant design. I like a lot of the stuff from the Phantom Menace. Really, really marvellous design. You guys are getting a mauling, aren't you? You know, just fall back, fall back, fall back. Get out of there. Yeah, I want to like these things, but they don't seem to be that super duper useful in the mod, unfortunately.
They will join us or die.
Turret online. This should help.
Alright, just gonna hold this now, haven't we? There's our 501st guys there. Love to see them. There is something about seeing the Phase 2 clones with the blue stripes in it. Brings the memories back.
The battle is ours.
Lovely. Ladies and gentlemen, Munilist is ours. And with that, we bring it into the campaign. The Separatists are defeated. They have no Dreadnought shipyards left. They have a single capital shipyard here at Ord Tracy, and that is pretty much it. The headquarters of the banking clan, the only real sort of main faction that they had left in the Separatist Alliance, has been now taken. Geonosis we took, Mustafar we took, Hypori we took. I'm trying to think of what the other sort of big places are for them. Oh, the Nymoidias. Kato and Deka Nymoidia, we took both of those. Umbara. It's all fallen. This is all they've got left is this sort of random crap out here, really. It's Felucia. We never did get around to Felucia, the crazy fungus planet. Mostly because of its weird-ass location. But it's done. It's done. We've defeated them at this point. I'm happy with saying that at this point the Separatists would pretty much be those of them that are left would be forced to surrender or flee at this point, really, into the deepest reaches of spaces and try and run away and flee. What ships they have left will either be sold or decommissioned or probably bought off by criminal syndicates like the Black Sun. They have at least one Luca Hulk left out there somewhere. Which, who knows what'll happen to that. Again, could end up at the hands of the Black Sun. I believe there's actually a Rebel Admiral you can have in Thrawn's Revenge. I say Rebel Admiral, he's actually a New Republic Admiral you can have in Thrawn's Revenge. He's a Nymoidian, I think. Or he's either a Nymoidian or he's a Duros, I forget which. And he actually has a Luca Hulk. So who knows, maybe it's that one that survives, because they did have one left. They had originally two on Wayland, and then they moved one of them away, and I've never seen it since. So I have no idea what eventually happened to it. But there it is. There's Palpatine, sitting there on Deka Nymoidia, overseeing production of Praetors. And from here on out, we know the rest of the story, don't we? The Death Star is busily being built. The clones will be eventually phased out and replaced with stormtroopers. Vader will keep being a sulky, angry man. Zinj, well, she's going to go off and become some sort of crazy pirate queen, if I recall. She's frustrated by increasingly discriminatory policies and eventually turned pirate, yes. No idea what eventually happens to this guy, Octavian Grant. No idea what happens to him. I've no idea what happens to Admiral Moline here. I mean, he's either some expanded universe character I've never heard of, or he's probably one of those admirals that ends up either dying on the Death Star or gets killed in Return of the Jedi. One of those guys. You know, it appears on screen for about 10 seconds, but he has a name and a backstory type deals. A bit like Yularen, to be fair, until Clone Wars came along and made Yularen an actual genuine, honest-to-goodness character. Yeah. yeah, well, that's about it. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a hell of a campaign. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to. In retrospect, I probably should have gone with a medium-sized campaign rather than a large one. It probably would have cut down on a lot of the performance issues as well. I got really very big for my boots, and I thought that my brand spanking new computer would be able to handle the large campaign, and it kind of has. But at the same time, as you've seen, we've had these really annoying freezing issues towards the end that have become aggressively worse the longer it's gone on. The campaign map is getting borderline unplayable at this point. That's why I've got it on pause right now. Regardless, though, I had fun with it. It was good. Switching it up towards the end and becoming the Empire definitely refreshed things a bit. Helped keep things interesting at a point where the game is starting to become really stale for me. I think that was just enough to keep it interesting, so I'm glad. It's nice that system's in there. If I'd gone Order 65 and kept the Jedi around, I think I would have struggled a lot more, actually. It would have been a lot less interesting. The benefits and rewards you get for going Order 65 are nowhere near as interesting as the ones you get for Order 66. Order 66 is just cool, because it's like you turn into a completely new faction overnight. It's awesome. You get the Emperor, you get Vader... you get all the Quat Drive Yard ships, you know, the early Imperial Star Destroyers and whatnot. It's just super cool. And you just don't get really anything like that with Order 65. You get to keep your Jedi, I guess, but aside from that, the rewards are not particularly interesting. I think you get one or two extra characters, and then maybe one, like, medium-sized ship that's unique or something. But that's about it. So... Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'll leave you hopefully with some sort of outro I've prepared for the end of the campaign. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed it. When we pick up next time, the mega campaign will continue. I don't know if there will be a break between this and the next installment of the mega campaign. I'm not sure yet. As of recording currently, the new version of Awakening the Rebellion is coming out next week. As of recording, so again, that'll date the recording quite significantly, I imagine. As it stands right now, I wouldn't mind moving straight onto it, although I may take a bit of a break, mostly to get myself refamiliarized with Awakening of the Rebellion. And I think I also want to do some streams of it on Twitch, particularly to play with the Black Sun faction. Because, in Awakening of the Rebellion, there are 3 playable main factions. There's the Rebels, the Empire, and there's also the Black Sun Criminal Syndicate, modelled on the Zan Consortium from the Forces of Corruption expansion for the original game. And when we go into Awakening of the Rebellion as the next part of the Mega Campaign series, I will be doing a version of the main campaign that does not include the Black Sun, so it'll just be Rebels versus Empire, because that's the narrative I want to focus on. And, I'm looking forward to it. So, yes. Awakening of the Rebellion does begin roughly around the beginning of The Empire Strikes Back, if you're curious as to where it fits into the overall Star Wars time frame. So, in between now and then, things will happen, like, you know, the events of A New Hope, the Death Star will be destroyed, and so on and so forth. And then when Awakening of the Rebellion begins, and when we begin our next part of the mega campaign, it will be roughly around the beginning of Empire Strikes Back. Just to put that in some kind of context for you. I'm looking forward to it, though. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. So, we're not going to be seeing any more of Tarkin. That's one thing that's probably worth mentioning. I'm afraid when I accidentally got him killed in a previous episode, that's the last you're going to see of him in this mega campaign, I'm afraid. Because he won't be around in the next one. But some old favourites will return, though, you know. Vader, obviously, he'll be back. Admiral Dodonna will be back, on the Rebel side, of course. Along with a few others. But, yeah. Ozzel will be back as well, admittedly, actually. Good old incompetent Ozzel, he will return. In style. But regardless, everybody, I'm babbling, and I think we've done enough and we've said enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the last time in Empire at War, Fall of the Republic, I bid you farewell, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Toodaloo. At an end, the Clone Wars were. To my total surprise, I actually received an invitation to the victory parade on Raxus Secundus, but I declined, citing important work that I did not wish to become distracted from. It was usually a good excuse to use. It hadn't taken very long, but I was already quite tired of all the pomp and ceremony of the new regime, and the big victory celebrations were really just an unpleasant reminder of how many we'd lost since it all started, and how the very fabric of the society we'd gone to war to protect in the first place was now utterly changed, almost beyond recognition. Did I feel any differently about the Separatists now that all was said and done? Not particularly, if I'm quite honest. Those among their ranks were misguided at best, and monsters at worst. They might have found themselves on the wrong end of the Empire, but that didn't make them good, and I've always continued to resist any attempts to rehabilitate their image over the years. Many of their leaders were tyrants who thought nothing of unleashing chemical and biological warfare on civilian populations, nor of bombarding cities, nor of using their legions of battle droids to exterminate any dissenters among the citizens of newly conquered planets. I do not miss them, and I have always spoken out against working with the remnants of that regime. I don't mourn their loss, but I do mourn everything we had to lose to beat them. Out on the frontier, we had plenty of time to think over these things. Life was routine, slow, and a lot less dangerous. On the Conqueror's Bridge, I was like the ruler of my own little kingdom, far from the politics of the Corps, running things the way I saw fit, and trying to forget about whatever was going on outside the purview of my own assignment. Times continued to change, as did the technology. Smugglers and pirates quickly discovered that our little interdiction mines were relatively easy to escape or simply destroy, and so they began to be replaced by immobilizer cruisers and the larger interdictors. Our grip on the big hyperlanes became absolute, with our quarry soon retreating into the warrens of less well-charted routes from whence they'd crept during the war. This game of cat and mouse went on without conclusion, and it was foolish to expect one. You might as well declare war on the wind or the tide. You can keep it under control, but it's folly to think you can eliminate it entirely. When the Conqueror was in port for resupply, I frequently retired to my personal residence down on the surface of Ryloth. I'd been afforded my own villa, out on the rocky mesas, where there was a little peace and quiet to be found, even if it was policed by a small garrison of Navy troopers while I was in attendance. It wasn't lost on me that, in spite of the fact that the Republic had come to the planet as liberators during the war, we were now lording over the place like victorious huts of old, even if it was from palaces of cold steel rather than red brick. The war had done no general favours for human-alien relations, it being a simple fact that aliens made up the vast majority of separatists. The few megacorporations that had remained loyal to the Republic, like Tagco and Sinar, were human-led, and naturally had been rewarded with much of the seized assets previously belonging to the likes of the Trade Federation. However, the Empire's state-enforced anti-alien attitude was beyond mere prejudice. Alien members of the military, many who had served with distinction, were unceremoniously expelled. And they didn't stop there. Rumours abounded of exactly what was going on out there for a number of years, but it was made frighteningly obvious when security briefs started using the term strategic extinction in relation to uncooperative alien species. It didn't take long for the Twi'leks on Ryloth to start reorganising into their insurgent militias, and frankly, who could blame them? 10 years after the end of the Clone Wars, I was instructed to lead an anti-piracy task force into the Gorla system. It was the Conqueror's last hurrah before being sent for mothballing. I was given to understand a brand new deuce was going to take on the Conqueror's name afterwards, some sort of experimental model, though I never found out much about it. Gorlas is located not far from Ryloth and is host to a massive asteroid belt that's known as Smuggler's Run. I'll let you guess who typically lived there. We'd received a tip-off as to the location of a pirate base in the field, and we set off at once, taking on board 2 companies of stormtroopers for the job. We found the base, neutralised its defences, and the troopers went down there in shuttles. A few hours later, it was all over. The clean-up came afterwards, and a lot of body bags came back up. The ISB wanted them for identification, which was a little unusual for pirates, and the personal effects of the pirates were also gathered up and preserved. I had to pull rank to get a look at them, despite the protest of a black-clad stormtrooper lieutenant. Amongst the large collection of detritus, carefully gathered together and organised, were notes. Simple paper ones, mostly, scribbled in ordinary handwriting. They were virtually all letters to loved ones. Apologies, explanations, simple wills. Mother and father. I apologise for leaving, but I felt it was the right thing to do, that sort of thing. The common theme was that they all spoke of rebellion, and judging by the names, they were all Twi'leks. I'm sure the incident got me put on a list somewhere. I was never formally reprimanded about it, but 9 years later, still being stuck in the Outer Rim, still a senior captain, now in command of a diminutive little strike cruiser, I might add, it was rather obvious that someone didn't want me going anywhere. In the meantime, the fires of rebellion had spread from isolated cells of insurgents and terrorists to open military action, and the high-profile defection of Mon Mothma from the Imperial Senate to join the rebellion. No longer could it simply be dismissed as a scattering of malcontents, Confederate holdouts, and pirates. It was organised, growing by the day, and almost 19 years since the formal surrender of the Separatist Alliance, I found myself thanking my lucky stars that my career hadn't gone anywhere important, because the cream of the Imperial Navy was blown to smithereens. Who had masterminded this incredible rebel victory? This astonishingly unprecedented defeat for the Empire? Who had done with 30 snub fighters what a fleet of destroyers would have failed to accomplish? My old commanding officer, of course, Jan de Donner. You know, I'd always thought he'd like to have seen Tarkin blown up after what happened at Sullust during the war, but never in a million years did I think he'd actually do it. I couldn't help but smile. In the wake of the incident, the Imperial military became subject to a witch hunt from the highest to the lowest level. The ISB began a purge the likes of which we had never seen. Even I, out in the arse end of nowhere, received a visit from an officer in the now ubiquitous white coat. I was asked to present the agent with a list of names from my own crew, consisting of people who had expressed any discontent, alien sympathies, or rebellious behaviour. I looked the young man directly in the eye. He was a whelp. Couldn't have been more than a small child by the end of the Clone Wars. Raised by Compnor to be a fanatic, and now here he was, on my bridge, sneering at me. I knew what I was going to do the moment the datapad was in my hands. Perhaps I should have stopped and reconsidered the implications, but honestly, the thought never occurred. I tapped out a single name on the list and handed it back. It was my own. Let me tell you, the look on his face, all by itself, nearly made it worth it.